Welcome to another episode of the Digital Tribe Virtual Summit. Today we bring a special guest, our friend, mother, a leader in her own space, and all-around nice chick. Joining us all the way from Connecticut is Diane Hochman. How's it going, Diane?
It's good. Happy social media season, day, week, whatever we want to call it. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, thank you. So Diane is a leader in a space what most feel that is somewhat misunderstood. It's the network marketing space. And she not only has built multiple teams around the globe in her years as a distributor, but she's also a consultant for big brands, and she's an educator. Tell us a little bit about your journey, Diane.
Absolutely. I'm actually celebrating my 20th year in a home business this October, so I'm really excited about that. Got started in '99, housewife with two little kids, and I needed to make some extra money. Pre-social media, the internet existed, but it's certainly what it was, what it is today. And I got involved in network marketing at the time. And it was incredible. My life changed. I didn't know a lot about anything else. I certainly didn't have a background in marketing, sales, any of that type of stuff. And then in 2005, social media started to burst onto the scene, and we had blogs. 2006, YouTube was born. And I was one of the pioneers in the home business and network marketing space using social media. And since then, I've gone on to speak on many stages and educate a lot of people and help people understand social media and social media communication, both in the home business and network marketing space, as well as in my local community. I've spoken in front of a lot of local businesses. So I have a real heart for what you're doing, Danny. I think that social media has changed the face of business, and a lot of people are still just trying to catch up and understand it.
Thank you, Diane. And, the reason why I wanted to have this conversation here with Diane, and I handpicked different leaders in different spaces here for Social Media Day weekend, is because I have a heart for the industry. As a matter of fact, when about 10 years ago, when I was in a different situation here in the United States, and I didn't qualify to get a job, I seeked out to be a distributor in one of these companies, but I only got the attention after saying no so many times to one of these meetings. When I finally went, I was exposed to hope, right? I was exposed to hope, and it was more than the products. It was more than compensation plan. It was, for me, it was like, I can't get away from what I'm doing, which was, labor work, right? I was working with my hands and my body, and I was, sweating and outdoors and, really doing what I needed to do, just married, right? I was just married, and then my situation was limited. And so I have a heart for the network marketing industry, because it was where I learned so much. I was exposed to leadership, and I was exposed to a team of people who was just so driven. And although I'm no longer an active distributor, I had forged relationships, with a lot of cool people along the way. So I wanted to mention that because I did so many things wrong on social media, right? I was the guy spamming, the internet. I was the guy making fun of my friends who had jobs, right? I was that obnoxious, guy, overexcited. What are some of the things, Diane, that you're seeing that is the reason why network marketing is misunderstood?
Well, before I dive into a couple of those reasons, I really want to point out, too, that some of the biggest names in social media came through network marketing. It is a gateway to entrepreneurialism for a lot of people. And it was for me, certainly. So it's easy to knock it or to judge it. I know people that make millions and millions and millions of dollars in the industry. I know people that have gone on to be social media icons who started in the industry. And I also see an awful lot of people doing a lot of really annoying stuff. So let's dissect that a little bit. I think one of the challenges with, there are parallels between people that are in social media agencies as well as people who are in network marketing is a lot of folks come to both of these sides of the fence with no marketing background or sales background. And it's a way to work. Yeah, me too. Me too. So it's a way to start, to begin. And there's lots of people that have bought education on how to run an agency that had no background, and they've done similar things. I think it's really just a result of lack of education and trying to make sales before education. We wouldn't, nobody would send you to medical school and say, hey, can you do surgery, but you're only a freshman. We wouldn't do that in other fields. Hey, we'd like you to try this case in court, but you're not a lawyer yet. You're only like a sophomore in college. We wouldn't do that. But in these particular fields that run parallel, we tend to throw people into the mix where they're out trying to get clients or out trying to make sales or build a team without really having had a lot of education yet. And that's when people do what they have to do. In your case, an immigrant coming to the country and looking for a way. In my case, a mom who wanted to be home with her kids, who didn't want to go back to work, looking for a way. And as much as we can poke fun, there's something beautiful about that. I mean, look at both of us and look at where we've come and look at what we've accomplished. And yeah, we were goofy in the beginning, but here we are standing and educating people and spreading the good news of social media around the world. So I don't know, I think there's something kind of beautiful about it.
Yes, and there's also a misconception, I guess, from overexcited distributors who didn't take the time to really analyze, the market trends and the tools and such, and maybe some leaders in the industry as well, kind of guiding distributors not to market on social media or not to brand themselves. One thing that I learned, or one of the many things that I've learned along the road, and that was that companies come and go, products come and go. You must brand yourself. Can you share a little bit about that? For the past 6 years, I've been exposed to attraction marketing, and it totally flipped the coin, in my opinion.
Yeah. And that's true, by the way, and I keep translating back to agency and social media because I know we have a wide audience watching the summit. It's the same with clients. Clients come and go. You might be working with plumbers and chiropractors this week, and next week you're working with landscapers and this, and then maybe you hit it big and you get a contract with a bigger corporation. But if your agency doesn't have a name, then you're always going to be challenged because people won't be seeking you out. So it's the same in attraction marketing, network marketing, in that we've seen the marketplace is volatile. Back in the day, in the origins of network marketing, there were only a couple companies. When I started, I didn't even know I was in network marketing. I didn't even know that there were other companies out there. I just knew I was selling some products. Today, we see volatility. We see companies changing. We see marketplaces changing. We see laws and regulations changing, which we've also seen in media on the internet. You used to be able to send email all day. Now there's can spam laws and there's different laws. So if we don't create our own space in the marketplace so that we're known, we're always going to be at the mercy of whether it's a company, a product, or clients. We have to build our brand. We have to make it known about who we are and what we do to those that might be the people to use our services.
Thanks, Diane. And I've read recently some of your content, and you dissected, or you shared, how there's a difference between marketing trends and marketing fads. Could you share a little bit about that? Because a lot of people get distracted with fads, and they don't pay attention to and things that are long-lasting in marketing.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of a good example. And I'm going to use cryptocurrency because it was like everywhere and it's coming back again. Cryptocurrency and Bitcoin is a trend, right? The blockchain is a trend. Blockchain's being used in all types of data. It's going to affect all of us if it hasn't affected all of us already. We don't even realize it. Different little programs that are trying to show you the secret tricks to making millions in Bitcoin, those were a fad. They came, they went, a lot of people didn't do well. Cryptocurrency, although it was volatile because it is a currency, right? You've seen currencies of countries become volatile, right? Especially, we talk about South America, Central America. There's different currencies that can become volatile, national currencies. So cryptocurrencies can be volatile, but in the end, currencies will never go away. So what does that mean? Out in the marketplace, or even in social media with tools. We've had different bots, like ManyChat, for example. We saw each other at the ManyChat conference. Bots for Messenger are not going away. They are a trend. Now, we've seen a lot of different companies come out and try to compete with the market leader right now, and they've come and gone. So fads are when something's the hot new thing and everybody's jumping on a bandwagon. Trends are something that's going to continue to grow, that's not likely to change within, it's going to last at least a decade, sometimes longer. So social media was one of those examples. In network marketing, a lot of the leaders said, it's a fad, it will never last, don't do it. Clearly it's a trend. Now all the network marketing big seminars are having whole days dedicated to social media. Social media was a trend. It continues to be a trend. It's not going away. And we were smart enough to position ourselves right when the trend was going wild. So that's the difference. I don't know if that's clear, but I wanted to give a couple different examples so people could get, a fad lasts for a little while. Can you make a buck on a fad? Sure you can. You can go sell pet rocks. You can sell T-shirts that say "Make America Great" or Obama T-shirts or whatever. I'm trying to not be political. I'm just saying you can sell whatever. There's another election coming up. There'll be T-shirts sold. That's a fad. Something's now. A trend ain't going to go nowhere.
Got it. And, that segues perfectly into my next question, because although most forward-thinking network marketing leadership are teaching now the power of the social reach, etc., there are still some other companies who are frowning upon the distributor using social media trends to have conversations, promote product or compensation plans. What would you have to say to those distributors who are held back from marketing online the proper way?
Well, first of all, we have to define, because a lot of people are looking for the right way or the proper way. And really, there's a lot of different ways. When we select what company we want to represent, we have to determine, does the marketing methods that the company espouse fit my lifestyle and the goals that I have? Company can do whatever they want. A company can do whatever I want. It's their company. Walmart can sell at a discount. Nordstrom's can sell very high-end with more service. That's the corporate culture. So a company can decide that they want to focus on home parties or they want to focus on a traditional way, and that's up to them. We as business people need to empower ourselves to determine what marketing methods fit our lifestyle. For me, when I started, my company was very meeting-based, and my meetings were 3 hours away each way. So I had 2 small children. That wasn't going to be a fit for my lifestyle, my life, my family. So I had to come up with another way. Additionally, then I was encouraged to have people in and out of my home in the meetings, in the evenings, and have home meetings. Well, I had small children and it was bedtime. So for me to have people coming out of my house while I was trying to create structure for my children wasn't going to be a fit for me. Was the company wrong? Not necessarily. Was my upline wrong? Not necessarily. That's just the way that they built. It wasn't a fit for me. That's really why I ended up in all of this, because then I started with email marketing before social media was born, was because I needed ways to gain leverage to work around my children. So who's right, who's wrong? Nobody. We as business owners have to determine what's the best methodology for us. I found I was good with words, focused in a lot on copywriting and email. Another marketer may come and they find that they're really good with Facebook ads or bots, building bots that are very effective. Am I right? Is email right, or are bots wrong? Neither. It just matters on the nature of the person's business and making good choices and educating ourselves about what is going to be the best thing for us. I don't know if that makes sense, but.
Yes, totally. And in my early years, and in my involvement in the industry, I was a member of one company, really
Mhm.
one company, and that company got acquired by a different company.
Mhm.
But in reality, I was just I ventured only into one company. I didn't jump around from company to company, although I did look at the different opportunities. And some of them, the product didn't really align with my lifestyle. Maybe other ones, the compensation plan were maybe too good to be true, right? But I really aligned with once I saw what I saw, and I became acquainted with the dynamics and the mechanics.
Mhm.
I went out and I seeked out one of the top guys to recruit me, because I saw a lot of people presenting, and I'm a New Yorker by heart, right? I grew up in New York, so and now I'm in Florida, so there's some leaders here who didn't align with my values and stuff, or my speed, right? So I went out and I called, the top guy in California, and to this day, he's still rocking and rolling. And so I see totally what you're saying, not only picking, the right company, but then inside of that company, seeking out who you want to be mentored by, right?
Mhm. And that's true in social media too. One person wants to go out and knock on doors and get clients. Another person wants to stay in their home and advertise and get clients. One person wants to be mentored by somebody who's nearby. You can sit down and have coffee with. Another person doesn't mind Zooming like we're doing now, long distance. And this is the biggest message I would give to everybody. I mean, this is after 20 years of doing this in all different facets. Empower yourself. Take control of your business. It doesn't belong to anybody but you. Who you choose to serve, what market you choose to serve is up to you. What products you decide or services you decide to sell is up to you. Nobody but you is going to make this business work for you. Whether you're a network marketer, whether you're an agency, you could be working with me and I can't make it happen for you. You could be working with Danny. He can't make your business successful. He can just give you his best advice and his expertise. You have to carry through. Everybody has to decide for themselves. And I think that's going back to your first question. Why does so much goofy stuff go on sometimes? It's because network marketing tends to market to people that it's easy. We're going to take your hand and walk you through step by step. And we have the simple duplicatable system. So everybody walks in a mentality of everything's going to be done for me. And you and I both know that in business, that's just not true. And I've been one of the people on my soapbox for years telling people, take responsibility for yourself. Nobody's right. Nobody's wrong. Just make a decision, follow your path.
Thanks, Diane. And it brings me back to when I first signed up. Right, I first signed up and I was so excited. But then I made a mistake, and maybe a lot of our viewers are going through the same thing. They see a system, right? For the most part, these companies have a system to follow, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, or at least myself, I thought I had a better idea. I thought that I was going to skip some of the steps, right? I thought that I was going to buy the most expensive ad on a page here locally, and that my phone was going to ring off the hook because I have the new hot weight loss program, right? I found that to be a great fail. I was on a contract for 12 months for this one ad, right? I was in debt before I even started.
Sounds about what most people do.
So about systems and tools, what would you have to say to those stubborn distributors who say, I have a better idea, I'm not going to follow the plan?
Ain't gonna work. It's really that simple. It's called reinventing the wheel. There are certain things that always work. Network marketing before social media was a business of influencers. Before we had the term influencers and cute girls on Instagram putting on lipstick and selling it, that's what network marketing always has been. It's been a business of influence. So when we decide that we don't want to learn the steps to become influential or to influence people, when we decide that we know better, we often land, broke. On the flip side, I will say that I was one of the people that created another way. And so I will defend that. But what I did was I took the classical concepts and applied leverage to them, the leverage of the internet. I didn't try to change the wheel, right? I didn't try to reinvent it. I took the wheel and put it on turbo. I don't know if that makes sense. And that's what we can do today, because of the power of the internet and social media allows us to go faster than ever. It's a double-edged sword, which we could talk about another time, because being able to go faster means it's more dangerous, right? If you drive a car faster, there's a little bit more danger. It's thrilling, and you can wipe out pretty damn good. If you're driving 200 miles an hour, you can wipe out pretty good. So, all of these things, reinventing the wheel and not taking guidance is a mistake, but also sitting in something that doesn't fit your personality and who you are could be a mistake. And what I always say is spend 90 days to 6 months learning the classical way. Plug in with a pro, somebody who's been doing it for a long time, who's made good money. Follow what they teach you to a T. And then once you get your income up, I always say if you can get your income to 10 grand, that's time to, 10 grand a month, you're making 6 figures, freestyle a little bit, see what happens. You may fall, then go back to classic. But until then, I wouldn't do it.
Just follow the system.
Yep. Yeah.
Don't be like me.
You know what? But you're an entrepreneur, and that's why it happened. And look at where you landed. So it's not surprising that you ended up being in the field that you're in, because that structure was actually more employee-like. See, network marketing for a lot of people is employee-like. You own your own business, but it is employee-like because there's that structure. You're more a freestyler. That's why you end up on this side of the fence. That's cool.
Yes, totally. My network marketing company, the early years in the meetings, they used to say, well, if it doesn't have our logo, don't read it, don't learn it, don't apply it if it doesn't have our logo. So, their tools were also a secondary source of income, and not a lot of people understood that. They were a bit misled, by other groups. So when I got a phone call from my cousin in Colombia to take a look at my Lead System Pro, I'm like, I'm not going to look at that. Of course not. But my curious, mind secretly looked at it.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing led to another. I actually met who Diane Hochman is through social media, through a video that somebody published on YouTube at an event that I was invited to, but I didn't go, in San Diego, which was my cousin. That's how I became acquainted to a different way, a way that's been proven and a way that works. So yes, that is essentially what brings us here today. Thanks for sharing that. Diane, I have a few questions here from our online audience, and actually I did have this on my list of questions. Talking about tools and systems, what is in your toolbox? Must-have tools, resources, devices, apps that you can't live without, that are vital to running your business, your brand, and to help you stay organized. Good.
That's a big question. That's big. I got to tell you guys, I'm a pretty keep it simple girl. I'm a communications girl. So obviously the first thing would be your phone, which I know sounds goofy, but I run into a lot of people that are trying to run businesses with outdated, crummy phones. Okay. Your phone is critical. If you don't have a decent phone, you need good photography. You need a good camera. You certainly need access to your different media. I'm checking, I can be anywhere. Like I'll be out of the country soon and I'll be able to check, because I have data. I have a phone plan that gives me data in every country. Well, not every, but in all of Latin America, I have data. So I can be checking my Facebook, my Instagram, my Twitter, and so on and so forth. So you really need a good phone. Don't discount that. I watch people. It's remarkable how many people are trying to be network marketing or social media professionals without a decent phone. I am a big email marketing person. I know you can go out there and people will say email is dead, email is dead. Email ain't dead. Go talk to anybody that has a big business. They're making the bulk of their income from email. So a good autoresponder, a lot of people try to, go cheap or free. I don't recommend that. And I also recommend that you use an autoresponder that has good support, that you can ask questions and get help. So I use one that I've used for years. And the reason why is it may not be the most fancy one. There's other ones out there, but their support speaks non-tech. I'm not terribly technical. You'd think I would be because I'm an internet marketer, but I'm not. Obviously social, all the social stuff, I'm on all the platforms, multi-channel marketing. I'm utilizing all the platforms. I don't use a lot of auto posting software or anything like that. Surprisingly, I don't use bots, although they're hugely popular and effective. My particular brand is a very hands-on brand. I have attended the events, as you know. I saw you at, I go to a lot of internet marketing events, and I'm always looking for that one good idea. I think video is everything now. So if you're not utilizing video, and I really do predict, for the next decade, we're going to see video go two ways. Super high-end, get good lighting, get good mics, learn to edit, or hire people, or super raw. And that's what those Instagram stories are, the Facebook stories. As we watch the feed and Facebook start to disappear, and it's happening, stories will become more prevalent. So if you're not comfortable using your camera, you better get comfortable. And I'm not just talking to agencies who are marketing their services, but to businesses that might be watching this, that are looking to engage people for your social media. When they tell you video is important, they're not kidding. And then I have the usual assortment of software. You can box videos, or you can do this or that. I have all that type of stuff. The other thing I think is really important, which a lot of people do not utilize, is a CRM, a customer relationship manager. If you're in network marketing, you need to make sure you're following up on your people and keeping track of your people. For those of you that are running agencies, you certainly need to be keeping track and following up with your prospects and clients. And for anybody that sells pretty much anything, using some type of mechanism to send out offers, to track purchases, etc., gives you data. We're in a data-driven society. And while I may not be particularly sophisticated and technical, I'm constantly looking at my data. Who hasn't purchased lately? Who hasn't, been in touch? Who's opening their emails? Who's not opening their emails? Who's commenting? Who's not commenting? So that type of stuff. So I'm not fancy, pretty basic, but it's effective stuff.
Interesting that you mentioned two things that leads me to my next question. So you mentioned that you're traveling to Latin America, and you mentioned, data. And in my experience, it seems that running ads in the Spanish language, there's a lower competition there. There's higher ROI. These ads are being delivered, at lower cost. In your opinion, in your experience, what do you see in the Hispanic buying power and how it's growing here in the States? And as a networker, the opportunity of building teams in these markets?
I think the opportunity is so tremendous because, especially in network marketing, most of the Latino teams here in the States and then also in Latin America have moved in traditional ways. So while I don't want to say, I'm going to use these words, but take them with due respect, they're delayed in their use of social media. Now, extremely effective. They become, in fact, look at the Mexico market. It's become the biggest market in so many of the network marketing companies. But I think that this decade is the decade where social media is going to take on huge power in the Latino markets. And I think there's also a really unique opportunity. We've talked about this before. In the States, there's huge numbers of people that are bilingual, but Spanish is their native language. Now, I'm bilingual, but English is my native language. I'm always going to gravitate towards reading and listening in English because it's easier for me. So there's lots of people that are using social media in English, but when the messages echo their culture, they're going to be more attracted to those particular ads or that particular media. So I think the opportunity is tremendous. I think that even, you know, for a while it was a matter of financial disparity, that people didn't have access to the internet in the same ways that, you know, people might have in the States and in different populations. But I think now, and we're seeing this, by the way, in countries around the world, not just Spanish-speaking countries, phones have taken on the role of the main communications tool, not laptops. In fact, and that's true of millennials too. Most of them don't even use a laptop to run their business. They're running these multi-million-dollar businesses from phones. So we really need to think about how we're presenting and talking to Latinos, and also to younger generations, because it's the opportunity is absolutely endless. So I don't think it's just advertising in Spanish. I think it's advertising culturally to a market. Does that make sense? Because you're more in the field in the Latin market than me, but I think that's true of everybody. You know, taste of home. People want to.
It's so interesting you mentioned that, because I recently was interviewed in a podcast, and I made that example. For instance, right now there's a soccer tournament going on, and it's called Copa America, right? So, you know, while a lot of the Latino immigrants here in the States share a story of leaving their country, coming here for a better life, and we all can relate to that, around this time of the year, right, where Copa America is happening, we're rivals, right? Argentina versus Brazil, you know, friendly rivalries, right? But
no, it's not. Come on, be true. Be true. There ain't nothing friendly about these rivalries. I worked translating for many years, and when this stuff went on, they would not talk to you, my friend. So yeah.
Well, I wanted to say that in the best sense of the word, right? But that exists. I'm from Colombia, and right now, right, we're about to probably encounter, you know, either Brazil or Argentina in the next round. So, you know, we're talking trash among our, you know, Latino friends and Brazilian friends. So there have been, that's a perfect example, because there have been brands who have been able to capture that passion and that rivalry, but they have nothing to do with soccer. They have nothing to do with sports, but they subliminally and intentionally have been able to capture the current state of our, you know, of the sports and the passion that's going on around that right now. So totally makes sense.
I think it's interesting too. I mean, over the years, like my family, I don't even know how long ago my family came to the States. I have no idea. It's like generations and generations and generations. So I'm sure that my whatever generations back grandparents had allegiance to their country of origin, even though they were here. And I think that we forget that when people have come more recently, they love their home. They're here. They're making a life here. They're bringing up their children here. They love their home. So when you get into marketing, you really have to think about, and this is always marketing true of anything. If you're marketing to women, what do women love? What are women into? And not all women are the same. If you're marketing to millennials, you know, people tend to want to lump everybody. So there's so many different ways of looking at marketing to, like the group that I'm working with in 2 weeks. We're going to have people from Costa Rica, from Colombia, from Panama, and they all come together for a regional event. But of course, their cultures are all different. So we can't forget that and lump everybody together. We can't, this is a whole nother interview another day to just talk about target marketing and understanding populations, which has nothing to do with Latin America, and has nothing to do with network marketing. It has to do with understanding humans. And understanding humans is the name of the game, whether you're a social media agency, whether you're a network marketer, whether you're Coca-Cola, big ad agencies, etc. It's understanding what drives a human. What do they love? What are they passionate about?
Oh yeah, and soccer is one of the things
Yes,
we are a little bit passionate about. Yes.
a little bit, just a little bit.
So, Diane, in closing, and this is another question that's coming in online. What is your superpower? What do you think has made you success and an influential person in our space?
Exactly what we were just talking about. I've spent more time working on understanding people than I have about understanding technology or tools.
Mm.
I think a lot of people neglect really understanding their marketplace. If you understand a marketplace, you can speak to them, you can write to them, you can video to them, you can tap right into the heart and soul of the marketplace and attract the sales. So I've always put people first and studied people first before trends and fads. Social media has changed dramatically over the last 15 years. I was there to watch it from the beginning. I can show you audio of me screaming, telling everybody how big this was going to be back in the day. It's changed, but technology will always change. Humans never do. And what motivates and drives people will be here for forever.
That's golden. That is golden. Just wanted to say thank you so much for carving out the time to join us on this virtual summit, Diane. Several years ago, you and I met, and I was trying to get your attention at this party, and you were surrounded by your entourage. And I'm a newcomer there at this party, and I dress the part. I'm wearing my new shoes I brought from Colombia, and I'm very carefully. I took a picture of you from a distance, and right at that second, you caught me. Like you turned around and you said hello, and I got that shot on my phone. And that was the day that, as I was trying to get your attention, somehow I did through intention, right? And my shoes, I guess, right?
It worked. Remember me, you and Jenny sat for quite a while talking. We had the nicest conversation. And those shoes, they're shoes, I don't know if I'm not allowed to say bad words, but those are nice shoes.
Well, maybe I'll put them inside a glass box one of these days.
There you go. The way the rest of your career.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you so much, Diane, for joining us. Diane is not only a speaker, an influencer, she's also a practitioner, in her craft. And, she has carved the time to join us here today because she's believed, in the power of social media. I believe in the power of network marketing. I'm an advocate for the industry, guys. How do people get in touch with Diane Hochman?
My site is dianehochman.com. It's Hochman. And my email is just diane@dianehochman.com. And guess what? On any social media platform, you can find me at whatever.com/Diane Hochman. So Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, you can find me all over the place. So definitely reach out. Let me know that you met me on the summit. Would love to meet you. And, I'm just really excited to be part of your summit and what you're doing, and your honored that you had me, and really excited to be talking about network marketing and letting people know, hey, don't be so hard on people that are just coming down the road. They're just learning. Maybe if you're more experienced, why don't you take them under your arm and just give them a little advice instead of shaking your head at them, because I can show you some of our own top people in this game. That's where they came from. And some of the biggest leaders of tomorrow will come from network marketing too, I promise you.
That's right. Thanks, Diane. Thanks for everything you do. And thank you guys for joining us. Again, if you haven't signed up for the rest of the sessions, be sure to go to go.digitaltribesummit.com. And this video will probably be on a replay as long as Diane allows us to have it. So thank you so much, Diane. And I'll see you online on the next video.